Where Colin was right?
NFL executives came out with a top 10 quarterback ranking based on executives, scouts, coaches, all this stuff. Mahomes was number 2 to Josh Allen. This is what we've been on for 2 years. Mahomes has the better infrastructure, the better owner, had the better coach, a very good general manager. Allen's the better talent. His force, his mobility, his strength, his durability. Josh Allen is the best football player and the best quarterback in the NFL.
He makes a fair point, but I cannot say I am a fan of this particular ranking. In my view, the list is nothing short of chaotic. I have mentioned in prior breakdown videos that I am not in a position to claim vindication, because the criteria at play remain baffling. It is difficult to decipher what exactly is being measured. However, one truth stands out above all else: Josh Allen is unequivocally the premier quarterback in the National Football League. He is head and shoulders above the rest. In fact, I am convinced that one could shuffle the order of this list in a million permutations, and the conclusion would remain unchanged. I often find myself diving into the analytics and crunching the numbers on every conceivable variation this ranking could take. Yet, at the end of the day, there is only a single top spot, and it indisputably belongs to Josh Allen. What strikes me as particularly amusing is the reaction I have received for asserting that Allen outclasses Matthew Stafford. Critics immediately retort with "he is the MVP," as if that accolade settles the debate. But if Allen is the supreme signal caller, and Stafford is surrounded by a markedly superior roster and infrastructure, then does that not make Allen's achievements all the more impressive? Indeed, the answer is unequivocally yes. Did Allen not also shoulder a greater proportion of the offensive burden, even contributing significantly through the ground game? Again, the answer is affirmative. And whose defense surrendered more points during the postseason? The facts speak for themselves. Before we proceed further, I must implore the Buffalo Bills faithful to ensure they are subscribed and to watch the entirety of this analysis. When you engage with the content, the viewership and subscriber counts surge. This is not about chasing superficial metrics, it is about fostering a platform that produces Bills-related material that fans genuinely wish to consume and debate. This allows us to maintain the most impartial, rational, and honest discussions about the franchise. Your support makes an enormous difference, and I am truly grateful for it. Nevertheless, the irony is palpable. This marks, I believe, my 5th installment dissecting this ranking. I have examined clips from shows like Get Up, and I suspect I will continue to address it on programs such as NFL Live depending on the quarterbacks under discussion. Across these segments, my recurring question has been, what exactly are the parameters? Clearly, the evaluation goes beyond Super Bowl triumphs or superficial accolades. It necessitates a deeper assessment, heavily reliant on the eye test. Think of it as a tryout scenario. We are not scrutinizing statistics or championship pedigree in isolation. Rather, we are focusing on the intrinsic quality of performance. That said, it is not exclusively about the eye test. Analytics and recent production inevitably factor into the equation, but the predominant emphasis appears to be on NT form. What are we witnessing in the present moment? After analyzing every conceivable way to compile such a list, the inescapable reality is that regardless of the metrics employed, whether durability, athleticism, mobility, arm strength, precision, performance in critical moments, fourth-quarter clutchness, or even long-term career achievements versus recent seasons, Josh Allen emerges as the unequivocal number 1. There is absolutely no doubt about it. Furthermore, the gap is substantial. This is the notion that many observers still struggle to accept. It is not a narrow margin, it is a chasm. This brings me to a point I feel compelled to address, as detractors frequently invoke his lack of a Super Bowl ring. If that is the standard, then I must ask, where does that place Jalen Hurts? Or Sam Darnold? This is precisely why the list defies logic. If championship victories are the sole criterion, then Hurts should be ranked above Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson. Yet the same individuals who argue Allen should not be placed ahead of Mahomes are not advocating for Hurts or Darnold to be elevated above Jackson. Their argument is selectively applied, wielded solely to diminish Allen's standing. That is not a coherent position. It does not hold up to scrutiny. Consequently, my evaluation is grounded purely in on-field production. What can a player accomplish in the immediate present? I am not concerned with performances from 2019, 2020, or even 2021. However, if one wishes to expand The discussion to encompass a broader timeline, Allen still prevails, and by a significant measure. This aligns with Colin Cowherd's observation: the infrastructure, coaching staff, roster, and ownership in Kansas City have consistently been superior to those in Buffalo. There is no disputing that. This reality makes Allen's achievements with the Bills all the more extraordinary. He is undeniably the superior quarterback. There was a time when I considered the comparison between Allen and Mahomes to be relatively close, but I no longer hold that view. When I previously stated that the difference was vast, it was partly a commentary on public perception. Even in my own mind, I allowed for some proximity. Now, however, I see it differently. Watching Mahomes navigate last season with his supporting cast, and assessing his physicality, mobility, endurance, accuracy, and playmaking, it is clear he does not operate at Allen's level. For the past couple of seasons, Allen has demonstrated the ability to execute every single facet of the game that Mahomes can. Conversely, Mahomes cannot replicate everything that Allen does. There is no quarterback in the league who possesses abilities that Allen lacks. It is entirely reasonable to assert that Allen can perform every task that Stafford, Burrow, or Jackson can. There are varying strata of talent, but Allen stands alone as the most complete quarterback, and one could even argue he ranks among the most complete in NFL history. While Tom Brady is universally acknowledged as the greatest and a superior pure passer, and Aaron Rodgers has been lauded for his technical prowess, it is worth remembering that until Brady's victory with Tampa Bay, it was a widely accepted opinion that Rodgers was the more gifted quarterback. This was not a fringe perspective, it permeated mainstream discourse, from television debates to barbershop conversations. I recall it vividly. The common refrain was, yes, Brady has the rings, but Rodgers is the better quarterback. This sentiment was expressed on programs like Undisputed, The Herd, First Take, and First Things First. Even Nick Wright, as a clip from 2017 demonstrates, argued that Rodgers surpassed Brady. If that logic was acceptable then, why is it not applicable now? Consistency demands that we acknowledge Allen as the most complete and extraordinary talent the game has ever seen. It is a genuine tragedy that we have not witnessed him with a fully balanced roster, a cohesive coaching staff, and sustained continuity. The fact that he has not had the benefit of a Sean McVay, a Kyle Shanahan, or an Andy Reid is lamentable. Jimmy Garoppolo had Shanahan, Jared Goff had McVay, and even Baker Mayfield had a brief stint with McVay. This is an absolute misfortune. We have been deprived of even more breathtaking brilliance. The finest offensive mind Allen worked with was Brian Daboll, and that collaboration occurred early in his development, before he reached his prime. Additionally, Stephen Diggs was a key target during his formative years, but by the time Allen entered his prime, Diggs had become erratic, and he was simultaneously contending with subpar coaching. He has never experienced the confluence of elite coaching, a mature roster, and his own peak understanding of the NFL game simultaneously. That is a crying shame. Consider the 13-second playoff game as a perfect illustration. Allen outplayed Mahomes in that contest. I have conducted exhaustive analyses, reviewing highlights and statistics, and the verdict is clear: Allen was the superior quarterback, and it was not particularly close. What is fascinating is that Allen performed at an otherworldly level and still lost, which is absurd. Mahomes also played well, but had Kansas City lost, the narrative would have centered on Allen's brilliance. Instead, Allen's defeat was attributed not to Mahomes' heroics, but to the collective strength of the Chiefs and the failings of Buffalo's coaching and defense. Allen was forced to produce superhuman plays, while Kansas City benefited from Tyreek Hill's explosive speed, wide-open receivers, and Andy Reid's scheming. It was a confluence of factors, with Mahomes playing a role, but the outcome was shaped by Buffalo's deficiencies and Kansas City's advantages. If the Chiefs had lost, it would have been because of Allen. That asymmetry is uncomfortable for many Mahomes supporters, but it should be acknowledged with pride. The Chiefs have an elite quarterback on an elite team, and their organizational superiority is evident. They should embrace it, much like the Eagles do with pride, celebrating Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie. Ravens fans might argue for Lamar, but the response is simple: build a better team. Mahomes fans, however, engage in obfuscation. They boast about the team, yet resist admitting that Mahomes benefits from it. What was Andy Reid's record before Mahomes? He was already a Hall of Fame coach. Did he win a Super Bowl? He was expected to defeat Kurt Warner and Tom Brady with Donovan McNabb? Or Tom Brady with Alex Smith and a pre-prime Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce? The excuses are endless. Chiefs fans, take pride in your organization. The Cowboys have more self-respect in that regard. Stop the charade. The truth will liberate you. Josh Allen is superior to Patrick Mahomes. He is the best quarterback in the NFL. He has always been the better player. He is truly spectacular, with a skill set unparalleled at this level. Mahomes is incredible, special, and unquestionably great, but he is not on Allen's plane. That is the reality. Similarly, Jalen Hurts is an excellent quarterback, and I produce many videos defending him, but he is not the passer Stafford is, nor is he on Brady's level. It is acceptable to admit that. I can acknowledge it, and so should you. Mahomes is not on Allen's level, and that is fine. Additionally, Aaron Rodgers is superior to Mahomes, in my opinion. I would love to hear your perspectives on Allen being ranked number 1 by the league's intelligent evaluators, general managers, executives, scouts, and coaches. I read every comment, regardless of agreement. Also, Stafford should be ranked ahead of Mahomes. Let's engage in discussion, even if it leads to debate, but ultimately, let's enjoy the conversation. Please consider subscribing. We are building a fantastic community. Furthermore, Mahomes has not defeated a top 10 quarterback in the Super Bowl, having faced Jimmy Garoppolo, Brock Purdy, and Jalen Hurts. I am simply noting that. Meanwhile, Mahomes has the greatest defensive coach in history, and Spagnuolo's defense ended the undefeated Patriots, winning with Eli Manning against Brady. Tyreek Hill also achieved better statistics with Tua Tagovailoa. Can we finally put this to rest? I want your thoughts on Allen and the Bills. I read every comment. Let's discuss, debate, and have fun. Oh, and there is evidence that the Chiefs receive more favorable officiating than any other team. That is all I have to say.